Hey John, so after today's assessment, there are a few things I'd like to explain to you.
Okay, let's hear it.
Sure. So after this session together today, I believe that we are dealing with an anterior impingement of the psoas muscle in your left hip.
The SOAP muscle?
The psoas muscle, also known as one of your hip flexors, allows you to bring your thigh into flexion towards your chest.
And it's impinged?
Yes, an impingement is a term we use to describe an area that is not functioning normally and is generally accompanied with pain. When looking at an impingement of the psoas muscle, we know this to be a common injury for hockey players.
Why specifically hockey players?
Great question. Well, as you know, efficient skating requires a low center of gravity, knees bent and torso leaning forward. This provides stability and efficiency to a player's stride. However, the downside to this position is a constant hinge at the hips.
Why is that a bad thing?
The reason being that when a player is constantly in a bent over position, the shortened muscles that are not being used to their full range of motion tend to tighten up. This is what happens with hockey players. Since they are never taking their legs through full hip flexion, their hip flexors begin to tighten and weaken. Hence why we saw a positive Thomas test and a 4- on 5 of the psoas muscle MMT. This indicates a lack of flexibility and strength.
Okay, but all my buddies play hockey and they don't have that problem. Why me?
Well, John, after our thorough assessment, I've also noticed a left scoliosis in your lumbar spine. The lumbar spine is composed of 5 vertebrates. Your spine seems to be slightly curved to the left. This slight curvature is most probably led to compensations of the surrounding structures. When the lumbar spine is off-centered, we typically see it affect the joints above and below. In this case, we see the pelvis and hips compensated for the lumbar spine's malalignment.
Oh gosh, that doesn't sound too good. Am I gonna need surgery?
Luckily, no. So you see there are 2 types of scoliosis: anatomical scoliosis and functional scoliosis. Fortunately, your scoliosis is functional, which means that it has been caused by muscular compensation and not by an anatomical deformity of the spine.
Oh, thank goodness. So what exactly are these muscle compensations?
Sure, so in your case, your tendency to bend to the left and rotate to the right is a result of your scoliosis. Another compensation I've noticed is your lack of internal rotation of the hip. This could be caused by the repetitive skating stride mechanics: hip extension, abduction, and external rotation. The glute medius's primary action is abduction at the hip. However, it also assists in internal rotation. After testing your glute med, I found it was lacking strength. With a lack of activation and strength, your glute med will be overpowered by the glute max and therefore lose its range in internal rotation.
Okay, I understand, but why am I bending one way and rotating the other way?
Great question. See, the tight and overused psoas could be why you tend to side bend to the left and rotate to the right, as the body will compensate in different ways in order to get into a comfortable position. In this case, the tight psoas would pull the transverse processes of T12 to L4 to the left, causing the side bend. And since the transverse processes are located on the posterior lateral surface of the spine, they'll cause it to rotate to the right. Following Freire's first law, we know that in a neutral spine, side bending one way will be accompanied by rotating to the other way. Therefore, the pelvis will rotate to the right in your case.
Wow, it's very interesting. I didn't know they had laws in anatomy. Anyways, I'm looking forward to fixing my issues and getting back on the ice with my buddies.
My pleasure, John. I look forward to it too.